I just knew what I did was I needed to take a look at, okay, if I have all of these monthly expenses, and this is where I feel like a lot of business owners get stuck, by the way, because they see sort of the high level, sort of flighty kind of, oh, I just want to make 10K a month sort of thing. But actually, if you bring yourself back down to earth and you say, what are my monthly expenses?
Hello, and welcome to Business Expansion Tips with Kanika Vasudeva. Today, I have a really special guest with me, Emily. She is one of my favorite teachers. She's the one who really taught me how to tune into the Akashic Records. I was already doing that, but I think, Emily, you gave me the tools to really feel into it. So I'm super excited to have her to talk about spiritual business growth. So, Emily, a lot of spiritual business owners really struggle with setting up their business because it's different than a usual business. The business model is really not the same because everywhere else, yes, it is very customer focused and sort of customer focused here as well. But you create the inner shifts first, you keep peeling off your own inner layers, your self doubt, all the worthiness issues, and then that's how your business expands. So how did your business really start? What was your first year like?
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't agree more with everything that you said. We're in the business of providing a service, right? So we are heart-centered leaders, we are service providers, and I feel that a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs and business owners get stuck in the transition between being the service provider and being the teacher, being the guide, being the leader. So I'm definitely today and with what I share going to really tap into that and how the listener can transition from being someone who simply provides a reading or a service to someone who can take that to the next level and actually elevate their spiritual business and grow it to be something that can offer a more well-rounded lifestyle approach to their client, to their audience. So for me, I actually started my business providing the service of personal training. I, at the beginning of 2020, before the pandemic started, I was working in a corporate job as a retail buyer for a major retail company here in the United States. And I was extremely burnt out. I live on the East Coast here in Pennsylvania in the United States, and I was commuting to New York City twice a week on the train very early in the morning. And I had this long commute. I had a lot of responsibilities. I had no time for myself. And my one thing that I was obsessed with at that time, in addition to the spiritual practices and things, but my one thing that I was really laser focused on for stress relief was health and fitness. And so I saw my ticket out of my corporate job through becoming a personal trainer. So I signed up to get a personal training certification. I signed up and made a big 10K investment in my first business coach at the time in January of 2020 to learn how to become an online virtual trainer. And I started an Instagram and I texted all of my friends and I said, I just need to let you know that I am starting this new entrepreneurial venture. I have no idea what it's going to lead me to, but I'm excited and just ask that you support me because I'm really nervous and I'm awkward and I'm afraid of getting on video, but we're going to do it and we're going to see what happens. So I did that. The world shuts down in March of 2020 and I start working
What
from home
timing?
with my corporate job. I know, perfect timing for me, so divinely led. And all of a sudden, I had time not just to focus on fitness at home and building the Instagram, but I also had time to focus on the spiritual practices again. I revisited courses that I had taken on astrology in the years leading up to the pandemic. I cracked open the books on my bookshelf about numerology and the chakras and meditation. I started listening to spiritual podcasts, and one in particular started talking about spirit guides. And when I heard this information about spirit guides, it was like a light switch turned on for me. And I said, yeah, I've got spirit guides. Of course, I have spirit guides. I can't believe I forgot about this. I have spirit guides. And so I went on YouTube and I found a spirit guide meditation just a random one out there. And I had such a profound experience that I will never forget. This meditation cracked open my gift of clairaudience, the psychic gift of clear hearing. And all of a sudden I started being able to hear the voice of spirit and my spirit guides in my head, in my ear. And I wrote down this beautiful letter that this guide was, these words that this guide was saying to me at the time. I wrote it down in a journal and I just had tears streaming down my face. And that connection, that door into the spirit world, opened up a whole new realm of possibility for me where I started. Again, this is a very accelerated journey. This is all happening in 2020. I started taking spiritual classes. I started working with spiritual teachers. My first teacher that I worked with was a mediumship teacher. So I learned how to connect with the other side and talk to loved ones who had passed. And I started taking that skill set and using it with my new fitness clients that I had taken on during the pandemic. And they loved their readings. And my audience, my Instagram audience, I started sharing little snippets of my spiritual journey with them, and people were loving the content that I was creating. Perfect divine timing. Again, this was really, I feel like, before the spiritual industry took shape and took fire later on in the, late in the last couple of years. And I felt such a calling to pivot my business to focus on my spiritual gifts and to start offering those services. And yeah, that's really how the journey first began.
That's really inspiring. And I suppose very different to a lot of other people as well. Because you've got like this really good story. You sort of jumped into it and you just kept doing it and doing it and doing it. And I think a lot of us, including me, there are parts when I've moved, and especially I moved from a corporate role to being this coach. And it's a different ball game because you come preset with a mindset that doesn't really work in the spiritual world. Um, so it's really beautiful to see how much trust you had, how much faith you had. And even in the beginning, you're talking about taking all these courses and you're not really wondering, hey, why am I doing this? Whereas a lot of people in the beginning, it can be like, well, it's been 2 months and I haven't had, this client, or there's like a horizon of goals. And that is your ideal. The horizon always keeps moving. You never get there,
Yes.
but you
Yep.
keep traveling to it and you always feel like, I have not reached that. So it's beautiful how you're talking about the relationship with trust that, okay, things are just divinely led. And you, of course, you kept getting that because the more you went in, it's like you're just leaping in. You're just allowing yourself to be held. There's not as much doubt there. But I do still want to ask, were there times during this first year that you were doubting, where you were thinking, well, this is not really going well? Were there times like that, or were you just full trust?
I was so motivated by the fear and pain of being in that corporate job. I did not want to go back to the office ever again after the pandemic. Every time I would get on a group Zoom call with my leadership team, with my corporate job, and they would hint at us having to return to the office again, I would be like, no way. I am making this business work. I am so convinced that I can do it because I have no desire to ever live that life again. And I kid you not, I think I made like $800 in my business in 2020. I really didn't make a lot of money. Beginning of 2021, I think I made $200 from one single reading in January of 2021 before I was so convinced that I was going to quit my corporate job. I was like, this is it for me. Like, I'm just going to do it. I just feel there was something within me that just knew that this was my purpose, that this was my path, that this was my role in life. And I also had a really strong vision for my brand. I saw Emily the Mystic in lights. I saw that brand name. And the other thing I should say is that in the latter half of 2020, I started to vision for myself what a spiritual brand would look like. And the name Emily the Mystic came to me. I had a list of spiritual titles that I could use. And because I was focused on mediumship, I originally wanted to be Emily the Medium. Well, and Emily the Medium has already been in existence since before I even got into mediumship. She's amazing. She's so talented. So that wasn't going to work. So I had other names. I had a whole list of things, Emily the Psychic, Emily the Intuitive, like what? And Mystic really just stuck with me because to me, it represented an umbrella of spiritual practice. So that as a spiritual business owner, I didn't need to conform to any one modality or any one thing, that I could pursue this broad topic of mysticism and really make that come to life in whatever way I decided to shift the business. So going from 2020 into 2021, I had this brand vision in my head of what I was creating. I could see that I was inviting my future client to this really cool, sort of millennial, trendy, exciting, creative, feminine party that I was creating with the Emily the Mystic brand and vision. And I knew that I wanted to create course offerings and I wanted to create things that could help my client live that lifestyle that I was envisioning in my head. And because I was so excited about that vision and I could see it so clearly, that was what pushed me to quit my corporate job at the beginning of 2021. And I kid you not, I mean, it's so divinely guided and so divinely led. I quit my corporate job in February of 2021. My accountant at the time did my tax return, and the exact amount of money that I needed to pay my bills in March of 2021 was what came through as my tax return that year, which was crazy. Of course. Like, of course.
This is so beautiful. Uh, and I love your story about just trust and belief in yourself. Because this is where we falter. A lot of us can falter there and go, well, maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Maybe this is such big limelight is not meant for me. And you're talking about two things. A, you're talking about actually tasting your own medicine. So going deeper into it. That's how you're choosing your name. And you were really trusting yourself. And I often tell my clients as well that it is not you who's choosing the calling chose you. So know that the calling has a very divine path. The calling knows it's going to show you the whole staircase. It's showing you one step at a time. If you're ready to make more leaps, it'll actually show you two or three steps. But take the steps. The calling is choosing you. Everything is just coming your way. So I love how beautifully you're talking about that and really bringing that whole concept. Beautiful. So then talk to us around 2021. How were your business growth in numbers? Like what revenue were you doing? And it's beautiful that, okay, the first year you were not making so much, just a couple of $100, and you were still feeling like, yay, I got it because the revenue is increasing. Or how were you really validating yourself? Yes, you've got a lot of belief, but were there parameters that you were looking at? And how did that business grow after that?
Yeah. Well, getting back to receiving the money from the tax refund and quitting the job, I knew so deeply in my being that if I had the time to put into the business, I could make it work. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, if I just have, 8 hours a day to pour into the business that I have been spending on my job, I can be a workaholic. I can get things done. I'm very focused. I'm very ambitious. I can do it. And I was able to replace that corporate income within that April month of that year. So I believe my first year, I walked away with between like 60 and 75K total, which replaced my corporate income, which is pretty wild for like a first full year in business. And I just knew what I did was I needed to take a look at, okay, if I have all of these monthly expenses. And this is where I feel like a lot of business owners get stuck, by the way, because they see sort of high level, sort of flighty kind of, oh, I just want to make 10K a month sort of thing. But actually, if you bring yourself back down to earth and you say, what are my monthly expenses? All right, I need to make, my rent is 1,500 a month, my water bill is 100 a month, and you add up all of your monthly expenses and you say, okay, I need $3,000 a month just to get by, just to pay my expenses, and you don't have anything else coming in. You're like, I have to make that 3K a month. Okay, there's your motivator. Like, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to do it, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to push myself to get to that 3K a month and hit that goal. And then then you need to take a look at, all right, how many clients do I need to hit that 3K a month? Is it having, well, I would need to do the math right now, but let's say we're doing a certain number of readings for $100. Then maybe we need to fill the rest of that income to hit that $3,000 goal with maybe some sort of course offering or some sort of higher level mentorship that you're going to offer in order to hit that goal. So it's important that you're taking a look at, okay, what's my monthly goal based on actually what I need, at least when you're first getting started, because that can help motivate you to hit those numbers. And then, of course, once you've gotten there, then there's always room to grow. Where I have gotten stuck is where I've had business coaches and spiritual teachers say to me, oh, you're ready to hit 50K a month. Oh, you're ready to hit this like absorbent number. But my brain can't even wrap my head around how that's possible because that's so far out of reach of actually where I'm at now. So to me, the way that I built my business was the very tangible building block of starting with where I'm actually at right now and then building on that month over month. You can absolutely grow from there. And of course, you can hit the big numbers if that's what your biggest goal and dream is.
I love how you talk about it. And thank you for bringing us back to reality. Because often those lofty goals, they're like the big horizon, they're like the big ideal, and they actually keep you away from being happy. So if you just
Yeah.
have your little number there and you go, this is what I need to make, then above that is bonus, and you actually get to celebrate
Mhm.
it. And you are more in the gratitude mode. You go more like, yes, I'm making it. This is, and that drives more. That drives the
Yep.
excitement. That drives the fun. That's the more creative energy and brings in more abundance and traction as well. So it's beautiful. What sort of things did you do during your first years to just bring in clients? Were they always just coming to you? Did you ever feel that you had to show up in different ways to just have maybe more people coming to you?
Instagram has always been my primary driver. And I chose that platform because I love to be on it. So it's fun to me. It's fun to create with it. I feel like I'm able to tap into my visual gift, and I like the short form videos and I like the pictures, and it's very aesthetic to me. So I really appreciate that. I've never been drawn to TikTok. I repurpose my content on TikTok, but that's just never been my thing. So to me, that just doesn't feel authentic to me to put my energy there. YouTube was always something I wanted to get involved with. So I started my YouTube channel, I want to say in mid 2021. And YouTube is my secondary form of marketing and advertising. So the first thing I say to clients is pick a social media platform that you actually enjoy being on, because you're gonna have to spend a heck of a lot of time there. It's just part of the job. Of course, we can find clients through word of mouth and through referrals and friendships. But if you don't have a big network, I did not. Again, I was a very insular, private person. I hadn't really posted to Instagram at all before I started the fitness Instagram at the beginning of 2020. So that was very new to me, and showing up in that way was very new to me. So it's absolutely possible for you, if you are a private person, if you don't like showing up, to grow through social media, but you have to find a way to do it that's going to be fun for you. So, consistency, fun, consistency, continuing to show up there and trying to do it in a way that you actually enjoy is what's going to build the business. I haven't stopped. I think that's one of the biggest things that people don't realize and why I've been able to build the business in such a short period of time is I haven't freaking stopped posting since 2020. Like, I don't think I've taken more than, 4 days, maybe 5 days off from posting ever. Since I've had the YouTube channel, there's been a consistent video on YouTube, at least bi-weekly, for years now. So I think a lot of people take that for granted when they see business owners who have success. I haven't taken months off. I haven't disappeared. I haven't, gotten distracted with real life things. Even when I've had big challenges going on in my life, I still continue to show up. So that's what builds the consistency and yeah, and that eventually will bring the people to you that you're looking for.
And that's absolutely gold nuggets. I think a lot of people talk about consistency, and you were talking also about not giving up, being there even when the times were hard. And I think deep down, it really boils down to trust. Business growth, especially a heart led business growth where you're wanting to serve the people, where you are called in for a deeper purpose, that's really more about building your relationship with people. And so when you don't give up, when you're consistent, it's almost like, okay, I'm not giving up on you. First of all, I'm not giving up on myself. I'm just going to do this. And then I'm going to go out there and post. And it's also about reframing your thought about social media differently. And I love how you talk about it, that I just have fun with it, because a lot of people think about social media and go, oh, no, I don't want to do that. And yes, you can think like that. But then if you're posting with that energy, maybe actually take the time till you are feeling good and happy to be on social media, because then that's what you'll get back. It is such a gift that we've got social media today, whatever platform you're choosing. And you can use this platform for free to talk about your services, to talk about how you are, to give people an inside window. And that exactly is how frequency will work. And that's the sort of clients you will get as well based on what you are vibrating and bringing out. So
Yeah,
build that
100%.
relationship with social media, almost like thinking of it as a person and just trying to hug it and just build that relationship first before you get there. For me, I found that Instagram wasn't the best platform. Like you talking about energizing stuff and
Hmm.
non energizing stuff. I still find that Instagram can be a little bit harder, trickier for me. So I'm still working out that relationship where we are in good, beautiful friendship. And
Hmm.
it does not feel draining. But I've actually been enjoying LinkedIn. What's your thing
Mm.
around Instagram? How do you feel Instagram works? Like, because they all have very different characteristics. And you are such an Instagram expert. For people who don't know, you have like probably more than 25, 27K followers at the moment.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, how do you feel the algorithm works? Or what is the, if you had
Yeah.
Instagram defined like a personality, like an entity, what is Instagram like? Is she male, female? What is she? Help us visualize Instagram.
Well, she's always changing, and I take my retail background and expertise and apply it to this because I am always looking for the trends. That was a big part of my corporate role was to seek out the trends and the zeitgeist of the times. And so Instagram's actually always changing, and that's one thing you have to keep an eye on is that it's never the same. It's always evolving, and you have to have an eye for what people are looking for in order to catch on and hit the viral trends. So, right now, the two big categories that people are looking for are humor and entertainment to distract from the hardships of what we are going through in the collective. And number two, channeled messages, again, to distract from the hardship of what we are going through as a collective. And so the people that I am noticing who are having the most success are leading with some kind of raw, honest, vulnerable sense of humor that's really like, this is what it is. This is what life is really about. Those are the videos that are going viral right now. And then the people who are authentic, good channels who have high quality messages to share are also doing very well right now. That was different a few years ago. 2021 through 2023 was dominated by education, value-based content, teaching. I really grew my business at that time because consumers were looking to learn. They were looking to be curious. Now people are looking more for distraction and entertainment, to be fair. And so I have had to shift my sort of identity to recognize that I'm actually in the business of entertainment and
We are.
entertaining people. We are ultimately at the end of the day. And so the more I can have fun with that and show up on social media in a way that also pushes my offers that I'm creating that are, going to drive sales in my business. That's really where I am able to find success.
There are two things to talk about here. The first one is just the business of entertainment, because that might have just pulled people off. Like, what?
I
I don't
know.
think so.
I know it's
So,
triggering. Totally. Yeah.
so what's your take on it? Why do you think you are in the business of entertainment? Quick pause here. So, if you have been showing up, sharing your work, but still sales are not kicking in, then it's not your fault. It's usually a messaging problem or an energetic block. And that is easy to fix once you know what to look at. So, book a free sales energetic audit with me at artoflifecenter.com/sales. And let's get your income and clients flowing, shall we?
Because I am here to help people raise their vibration to see that life doesn't have to be so serious. We as human beings, we take this life so seriously. And to be fair, it is full of challenge and hardship and difficult times and ups and downs. And I have had my own fair share of grief and loss. And I could go down rabbit holes of stories about that. And ultimately, who I am is I am a sunshine girl. I am someone who loves to bring joy to people. I love to make people laugh. I've been that way since I was a kid. And I want my business to help people feel good at the end of the day. I want people to smile. I want to give people hope. Like literally, my content that I create is about giving people hope to get through whatever BS they are navigating in their human life and to bring that entertainment and that source of joy to help people shift their energy, shift their vibration, and to heal from the dark things of their past. Because ultimately, life is short and we better enjoy what we have, the time that we have here. So when I say that I'm an entertainer, for some people that may trigger like, oh my God, she's, a scam artist, or like she's not real or good at what she does or whatever. Or she's not taking spiritual practice seriously, all of the things that people can think. But ultimately, the way that I see it is that I'm here to spread joy and connecting people with spirit. Spirit is a high frequency. Spirit is here to bring joy. I'm a bridge for people with that. And yeah, that's ultimately what I'm here to do.
And you do that so beautifully because your feed always makes me smile.
Oh,
Always.
thank you.
So beautiful. Just for the listeners out here, I'll always say that you have your own spirit essence. So for Emily, it's joy. For some people, it's connection. For some people, it is just nurturing, but find your essence. Entertainment, just like television or movies, it has different genres. Find something that you love that you would go watch. And generally, the sort of movies that you like, the sort of entertainment you like, is the sort of person you are in real depth. And that's you, and bring that out more.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay, so I had another question for you because you're such an Instagram expert, if I can say that. Um, how do you tap into the trends? Do you have way of finding out how is the Instagram lady shaping up, what clothes she's wearing today, what is the trend she's going to choose next month?
Just spending time on it as a consumer, having fun with it as a consumer. I mean, right now, people are really pushing out the love and relationship content as well, myself included. I'm trying to get on that. And that's also very authentic to the journey that I've been on as well. So I would say just notice. And again, this is where the authenticity needs to come in because I'm sure someone listening is thinking to themselves, I just don't like being on Instagram and I don't really want to peruse the content that doesn't sound fun to me, then don't do it. It's not for you. Maybe you ask someone like me or you listen to podcasts like this to get insight on the trends, absolutely. Um, but to me, I genuinely find it fun to enjoy, of course, within moderation, consuming content that other people are creating. And that's where I just start to notice what is doing well and what I'm sensing. Oh, I'm seeing all of these creators having success with these specific things just because they're popping up on my explore page. And so I try to pay attention to that.
Mm. And just for people listening in as well, it doesn't always just have to be you doing all the work. Like for me, my
Mhm.
balance with Insta is I definitely love having the fun. I love putting the content out there. I just don't like personally being on the platform as much or like creating the reels as much. So I just have someone else do it. So there's a
Yeah.
balance that you find, but just keep it energizing for yourself.
Hmm. And same with
Um,
me and TikTok. I've got someone who repurposes my content on TikTok because I have no desire to be there. So, yep.
Yeah, you do your business, and that's the gift of being in your own world, being the business owner, that you get to be you, that you just get to choose. This is what I like, this is what I'm going to do, and the rest I'm not going to do. Beautiful.
Hmm.
Okay. So being on the social media, the other thing that we hear is that, oh, it's so time consuming because even when you're getting all this engagement which you want, then people are coming to you, and then there's just a whole lot of back and forth with the conversations. How do you manage that? Does that get ever draining for you?
Yeah, I definitely have to set boundaries with it because I get overwhelmed with the DMs for sure. So I try to take weekends off from maintaining my messages. Um, I also try to be aware of my own time and energy with responding to comments and so forth on my posts because there can be a lot. So managing all of that can feel like a lot. So number one, you can always hire someone to do that sort of thing for you. Number two, people are so much smarter than they were 4 or 5 years ago. So engaging inauthentically is not working anymore. What I mean by that, posting fake comments on people's reels just to try to push your account ahead is not going to work. Cold DMing potential clients to try to sell a service is not going to work. People are smarter and the consumer marketplace is evolving. So it has to come from an authentic place. So for me, I have creators that I love that I keep an eye on because authentically, I'm like, I love what they do. I see them as collaborators, not as competition. So whenever they post something that I really appreciate, I'm going to respond and I'm going to let them know, wow, this resonated with me, or thank you for this. So I try to do that again when I'm just sort of organically on Instagram myself. It's coming from an authentic place. It's coming just from me. And the other thing I like to do is I like to constantly ask my audience, is this resonating with you? So I like to post polls about, what's your vibe this week? How are you feeling? How are you feeling with the full moon, as an example? Or I'll post a little channeled message on my Instagram story and with a call to action to say, did this resonate with you? Let me know. And that boosts engagement because people do respond to that. And I know that the messages that I share are accurate and they are spot on because I trust my gifts and I trust my channel. So I find that that really helps build a community and it also helps me to see that what I'm sharing is making an impact.
It does. It does. I think the more you step into your own vulnerability and really just keep peeling off the layers, it's also the clientele or just generally those are the eyeballs that you're attracting then because you're
Yeah.
evolving, the vibration is shifting. Yeah. For me personally, I don't have anyone else, and I don't think I ever will have someone looking after my DMs or doing comments, posting,
Yeah.
posing as me, because it's just switching energy. It's not authentic. It's just not who I am. So that's just something that I don't do.
Hmm.
I won't do, but we'll give listeners a choice to do them as they wish.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah. Do you think there's anything else around Instagram that we haven't really talked about and that you would want to touch on?
Yeah, I think general lifestyle content is really important. People love getting a glimpse into your life and how you live your life, especially as a spiritual business owner. People are curious. So I try to share authentically, not just Emily the Mystic, but who Emily actually is. So I'll share fitness content. I share music that I'm listening to. I share my weekend adventures, the food that I'm eating. And to me, that also builds a brand because you attract people to you and your feed based on your lifestyle. So I have certain music artists that I like to listen to. I love to weightlift in the gym. I love tattoos. Those are all very specific niche interests that not everybody is into. But I find the more that I post about those niche interests, that actually generates stronger authenticity and a stronger response from my audience versus hiding or like not sharing too much of my personal life or, avoiding posting about my interests for fear of isolating my audience or pushing clients away. I feel that the more you're authentic with your lifestyle, the more you magnetize clients to you versus if you're being vanilla and sharing what everybody else is sharing, or you're super high level, you're not niche specific enough that ultimately, when you're a jack of all trades, a master of none, you can end up pushing your clients away unintentionally.
Yeah, and the other thing that I found with the business as we're both doing our business and a business keeps teaching us as well.
Mhm.
I thought in the beginning that I am running the spiritual business. I'll say that again. I thought that I am running the spiritual business. I found that the spiritual business runs itself.
It does.
You were like uh, on the car. The car is going, and your job
Uh-huh.
is to hold the steering wheel and sort of
Oh.
sometimes
Mm.
do, and
Mhm.
sometimes brake, or sometimes like take, but you're almost like following the instructions. Doesn't mean that you don't get to drive it. You are meant to have fun with it, but you do it in your way. The business has its own thought pattern. So a lot of times people get really afraid of peeling their layers back and really going like, well, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm going through. It doesn't have to be always the deeper layers if you don't want to talk like that, but it could also just be your evolution. What is it that you're more interested in? So, for example, your food, sharing that probably is not as personal as you talking about events in your personal life.
Mhm.
But just your vibration, where you're getting pulled to, the courses that you're doing, that's already shifting. And the staircase that we talked about, the spirit guides already have your plan where you're supposed to go. So you're actually following the divine plan. You may or may not believe it, but actually start at least getting a little aware of it, that you're following that plan. So your people who are meant to come to you, your clientele, is actually going to more resonate with your next level because the more you're getting it, that was the spirit's plan anyway, and you're just drawing those people in. So it's a beautiful win-win. The more you are you, the more you also attract clients like you. And that's the beautiful thing. Also, sometimes the confusing things around a spiritual business because you grow and then there can be this inner fear, well, gosh, I am growing and I don't know whether I can already do this. For example, you've got a mentorship, which is helping singles attract their soulmates. And now I'm imagining that you don't have a soulmate right now, and you're going to do it through your mentorship. So the fear there can be, well, how can I really do this when I don't really know this? And so it's very different from the traditional business in that way. Can you really talk about that? How do you evolve? How do you teach at the same time? And how can you not get into that doubt because you were chosen for this? This is why you're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. I trust my intuition and the downloads that I receive so much. So, the first thing that's important is I have a daily practice where I clear my energy, I connect with my guides, and I ask them, where do I need to go today? Who do I need to meet today? Where do I need to be today? What are the little things that I need to accomplish today? And then I'll write down some notes of what I really need to focus on that day. And so that's one thing that I do. And all of my best business ideas come through in my day to day life experience, whether I'm at the gym or I'm having a conversation with a friend. They just come through organically, like live in the moment. It's part of my gene keys and my human design. And when I'm sort of in that energy and I get an idea, I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. So I'll write it down, I let it marinate. So the idea for spiritual and single came through, I want to say in September. So I've been sitting on it for a few months now. And when it came through originally, I was really not in a place to offer it because at the time I was fresh out of a relationship, healing from a breakup. And just barely starting to dip my toes into the dating world. Since then, honestly, it's interesting because the idea and the evolution for spiritual and single has really not just been marinating in itself as a business idea, but it's also been marinating me.
Mhm.
And there have been interesting things that have happened in my own life that have been preparing me to lead that container and to lead that mentorship. So, one of my biggest things that I teach and that I work on embodying in my own life is trusting in my timing. And the timing of when the ideas come in, the timing of letting them marinate, the timing of when I release them and launch them to the world, I trust that timing so much that I know that even if it doesn't work out, or let's say spiritual and single, no one signs up for it, I trust that there's a reason for it and that I was guided and led to do things in a certain order for a purpose, for a reason. So trust your timing and don't push or force. That's a lesson I've had to learn the hard way. Sometimes we get the idea and we're like, I got to get it out right away. I got the idea for spiritual and single months ago. I let it marinate. I didn't start building it immediately. So be patient with your process and trust your timing.
Yeah, beautiful advice. The way I see it is that the information comes in. Um, well, let me try and explain it in a human way as possible, as best possible as I can. When the baby is born, we have the baby inside us for 9 months. So it
Yeah.
marinates, it's just
Yeah.
cooking. Um, and if people did not know that, oh, the baby is going to come out in 9 months, they would go like, well, why is the baby not out yet in the first month, in the second month? The
Yeah.
baby takes 9 months to come out.
Hmm.
So let that come in, know that there's a divine process to it. And even when they start doing it, when the spirit sends you the idea, they're also bringing all the other things into motion for you. So it is a process of inner growth. I've never seen myself or even any of the other spiritual clients that I coach. I've never seen them doing something, offering something, even if it feels out of their comfort zone in a way that they're not ready. When you're
Yeah.
truly tapping into your divine guidance, it will come through. It is just so amazing how the clients come in at the exact moment that you need to learn the lesson, that they need to learn the lesson. So it's like a very beautiful, dynamic classroom. And just enjoy that because that's the beauty of a spiritual business. It grows you. And instead of
Mhm.
thinking, oh, I've got to run this, again, just remember that the business is going. You're sitting
Mhm.
in the business. Yes, you have a chair and you're the co creator with the business. But just remember, you're the co creator. Business is driving itself. You don't really have to do everything. You can relax. It's got its job.
Mhm.
You already have, I wouldn't say CEO, CFO, but you've got the reins there. Do you have terminology for that?
Oh, I mean, I just see that my business has its own consciousness. So I'm the vessel for that consciousness, and I'm grateful that it chose me. And I trust that sometimes the business pulls things in and sometimes it repels things away, whether that be offerings that I have or team members or clients, all of the above. The business pulls things in or it repels things away. So you have to trust that the business is also doing that simultaneously to you.
Beautiful. So is it okay if we just go on to some rapid fire questions now? That would just be fun.
Can I share one more thing quick
Yes,
that I think
absolutely.
is, I just
Please.
feel called to share this for some reason. I normally don't speak to the specifics of human design, but I want to say this. One thing that's really helped me is leaning on my human design profile lines. So the numbers that you have in your human design profile, I'm a 1-3 specifically. Even above and beyond your human design type, whether you're a manifestor, manifesting generator, specifically your profile lines. I'm a 1-3, which means that I am here to learn through experience and then teach people about it. So my whole life, I kid you not, my whole life has been about learning through hands-on life experience and then telling people about what I've learned. So that's what I've had to create my business around is that whole experience. I mean, I've got kitty cats here now too, so I've been learning. For those of you who are watching the video, my cat just appeared here, but I've been learning about what it means to be a cat mom through the hands-on experience of being a cat mom. And, maybe that'll come into the business in some shape or form, maybe not. But ultimately, the reason why I'm talking about this is that your profile lines can show you a lot about how you're meant to show up in business and how to operate in your offers from that point of view.
And that is so beautiful. I'm so glad you interrupted. I'm so glad you shared it because if people are just listening and thinking, well, I really don't know what my soul essence is, what is that vibration I should tap into right now for my social media feed or my business, like who I am, if they're really struggling with that, human design, those lines, those numbers, they're really good to get you started there. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing.
Mhm. Now I'm
All right.
ready.
Okay, so rapid fire. We'll try and keep it quick. Just say the first word or the first, phrase that comes to you. What is a song that lifts your energy?
The first song that comes to me is a song called "Love Again." That's by a DJ named Audien that I've been listening to, whose music is all about love. Because I'm
Ah,
on a love journey right now. So,
yay! What is your favorite productivity hack?
oh, right now, it is sleeping with my phone in another room because it forces me to go to bed on time and get up on time and not be lying in bed scrolling on my phone.
Beautiful. Great. We've got to set the boundaries. Yes. And then how do you manage your energy? What do you do in general just for energy balancing, coming back to Emily every day?
I have a schedule that works with my natural energy. So I am not an early riser. I get up at like 8 a.m. in the morning. I go to the gym. I take my time. Then I see my first client at 12 o'clock p.m. Eastern. And then I work typically until the evening hours until like 7, 8 o'clock at night. And that's just because that's when I feel my best. So I build my schedule around my natural energy so that I don't feel like I am forcing or pushing myself in a way that's not natural to me.
Oh, beautiful. And couldn't have been said better, I think.
Thank you.
And last one, what's the biggest lesson that you feel you have learned in life?
In life in general,
And maybe it's a
oh,
journey.
oh boy, there's so many lessons. Let me tune into specifically what needs to come through. To surrender and let go of the control, man. Like this is
We could all relate
we
to that.
we think we're so in the driver's seat of life, and yes, you are, but you're actually really being guided, and you've got a spirit guide team that's working really hard on your behalf. And often you're just in your human ego mind and resistance. And the biggest guidance I can give you that I have had to learn the hard way is stop swimming upstream and making your life harder than it needs to be. We do that as humans. We sabotage ourselves and we make our lives harder through perfectionism and control tendencies and holding on to repressed emotions and anger and things from the past. But the more that you soften and the more that you let go of the wheel and you're like, all right, spirit guide team, where do I need to be today? Where do I need to go? And you listen to that little voice, the more that your life gets easier and more fulfilling.
The more the voice is able to speak up as well, the more
And
you're
they
able to
do.
hear it.
Hmm.
You've almost got to give it permission, space to just come through. Yeah, it's almost like it's just so funny. It's so relaxing. And there's a part of me which goes like, well, why can't we really do it? But unless you can go like, ah, it's okay. Whatever happens, it's okay. I'm fine. I'm held. Yeah, and that
Hmm.
shifts the dial.
A
So,
hundred
Emily,
percent.
it's been so lovely having you. It's been so lovely chatting with you. We could go on and on. How do people find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Emily the Mystic, YouTube, Emily the Mystic, and emilythemystic.com.
That's so beautiful. Thank you so much for being on the show. And for all our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. Emily is awesome. Go check out her feed for inspiration. Go check out her website because there's a lot of beautiful work that she does. And if you are on your own spiritual journey, it is amazing. Know that you were chosen in here for a calling that is much bigger than you. So you as the human person does not really have to sit back and go, I've got to figure it all out because there is a big spirit guide team that is working for you. So tap into that, tune in, be yourself, bring your essence out in the world, and we can't wait to see you rise and shine as well. Let me know what's really hit the most for you in the comments below because we'll get those answers to the people and we'll just get you more of episodes like that, stuff that you resonate with. All right, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye bye.